I know you don't answer questions, but you're going to listen to what I'm going to say. If you don't open the vehicle door and you step out and you turn the vehicle off, I'm going to break the window and I'm going to take you out of the vehicle and I'm going to take you under arrest.
On August 5th, 2025, Officer Victor Montanas of the Venice Police Department in Venice, Florida, initiated a traffic stop on driver Melissa Roger for allegedly driving with an expired registration.
You do not consent, you do not wish to contract with me, and you don't answer questions? All right, turn your vehicle off for me. Can I get 94? I got a sovereign citizen. Turn your vehicle off for me. 10-4. Ma'am, can you turn your vehicle off for me?
Here we can see the first mistake Officer Victor Montanas did during conducting this traffic stop was not telling the reason of a stop to Melissa Roger. He just simply came and started to order Melissa to turn her vehicle off.
All right, listen to me. I know you don't answer questions, but you're going to listen to what I'm going to say. If you don't open the vehicle door and you step out and you turn the vehicle off, I'm going to break the window and I'm going to take you out of the vehicle and I'm going to take you under arrest. Okay, you understand that if you don't comply with what I'm saying, you are going to go under arrest.
While conducting a traffic stop, police officers cannot simply stop vehicles whenever they feel like it. A traffic stop is considered a seizure under the Constitution. That means an officer must have a lawful reason to initiate the stop in the first place. If an officer observes a speeding violation, a broken taillight, a failure to maintain a lane, or an expired registration, courts will generally find that the stop was lawful.
Yeah, 10-4. Like I said, all right, one more chance. All right, I'm gonna have her 10-15. I need 94 but you close the windows. I'm gonna break the window. I understand that. It's a female driver telling me that, and I'm gonna break the window and take her under arrest. Step out of the vehicle. Step out of the vehicle.
No, kidnap me.
I'm not gonna
Because
kidnap
I have
you.
a fee.
Listen to me.
No.
Listen to me, ma'am.
kidnapping.
You're going about this the wrong way. You're just gonna get a citation. You're about to go to jail for resisting. You understand? So step out of the vehicle.
Here, as Officer Martinez points out, that she will only get citation for a traffic stop.
Ma'am, I don't want to use force against you.
At the tone, please record your message. When you
Ma'am,
finish recording, you may hang up. Or
I don't want to use force against you. You understand that, right?
leave a callback number, press 5.
Ma'am.
Now, this is where many viewers stop paying attention to the law. Under Supreme Court, officers conducting a lawful traffic stop generally have the authority to order a driver out of a vehicle. That rule exists because courts have recognized the substantial safety risks associated with roadside encounters.
Open your vehicle door. Open your vehicle door. Step out of the vehicle. I'm breaking the window. Open the vehicle door. You are under arrest. At this point, you have no say. Open the vehicle door. Open the vehicle door. You're under arrest for resisting. Step out of the vehicle, ma'am. You are under arrest for resistance. Step out of the vehicle, ma'am. Step out of the vehicle. Step out of the vehicle. Step out. Step out of the vehicle.
The driver reportedly asserted that she would not answer questions. She then refused repeated commands to exit the vehicle. The problem with those arguments is that constitutional rights do not operate the way many internet videos suggest. A person absolutely has the right to remain silent, but refusing consent does not mean a traffic stop magically ends. Nor does it allow a driver to disregard lawful commands issued during a valid detention.
Yeah, break it.
I have fees for these fines. Millions of dollars. You guys are going to be paid as hell.
Step out of the vehicle or you're going to get tased. Step out of the vehicle or you're going to get tased.
They're kidnapping me.
Step out of the vehicle.
They're kidnapping me.
Step out of the vehicle. I don't want to hurt you. Step out of the vehicle and do what I say. Step out of the fucking vehicle. Get behind your back. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
At this point, the encounter had crossed the line from a routine traffic stop into a physical arrest. The officer repeatedly instructed Ms. Rogers to exit the vehicle. Instead, she remained inside, rolled her window up, locked the door, and continued to refuse the officer's commands. Eventually, Officer Montanez forcibly removed her from the vehicle, placed her on the ground, and handcuffed her. For many viewers, this is the moment where opinions become firmly divided. Some will argue that once a driver refuses repeated commands, the officer has little choice but to use force to gain compliance. Others will argue that because the registration was ultimately determined to be valid, none of this should have happened in the first place. The law, however, requires a more careful analysis. One of the most common misconceptions is that any physical force used during an arrest is automatically excessive. That is not the legal standard. Courts instead ask whether the force was objectively reasonable from the perspective of a reasonable officer on the scene.
Simple as hell. You should have just complied.
You guys are screwed.
All right, man.
You're screwed.
I'm going to help you.
This is your last stand.
I'm going to have you step up.
This is your last stand.
Stand up. Clear our 10 through.
All of you. Brand new car. You guys are.
Open.
After Ms. Rogers was been arrested, Officer Montanez muted his body camera before speaking with the supervisor and then removed the camera for several minutes before putting it back on. The transcript notes that the department's body camera policy was not publicly available, so it does not conclude that this action violated policy. That distinction is important. Muting or removing a body camera is not automatically unlawful. Whether it violates departmental rules depends on the agency's written policy. Nevertheless, when an officer interrupts recording during a controversial encounter, it can undermine public confidence and make later review more difficult because an important portion of the interaction is no longer documented. The department's internal investigation also produced noteworthy findings. Investigators sustained allegations that Officer Montanez failed to properly confirm the license plate reader hit, failed to identify himself and explain the reason for the stop, violated aspects of the department's arrest procedures, committed unsafe acts, and engaged in conduct unbecoming an officer. Several other allegations, including excessive force, were not sustained. Those findings should not be confused with a court's constitutional analysis. Internal affairs investigations evaluate compliance with department policy. A violation of policy does not necessarily establish a violation of the Fourth Amendment. Likewise, an officer can comply with department policy and still violate the Constitution. The two inquiries are related but distinct. Pressed. If Ms. Rogers were to bring a civil rights lawsuit under 42 U.S.C. Section 1983, several claims could potentially be raised, including unlawful seizure, false arrest, and unreasonable detention. A court would likely begin by asking whether the initial stop was supported by an objectively reasonable basis. If the answer is no, The plaintiff's case becomes substantially stronger because many of the events that followed flowed directly from that initial decision. Khan, the officer, however, would likely argue that he reasonably relied on the information available to him at the time, and that any mistake regarding the registration was an objectively reasonable factual error rather than a constitutional violation. He would also likely invoke qualified immunity, arguing that existing law did not clearly establish that his specific conduct violated the Constitution under the circumstances. Qualified immunity often becomes the central issue in cases like this. It protects officers from personal liability unless they violate a clearly established constitutional right. The question is not simply whether a mistake occurred, but whether every reasonable officer would have understood that the conduct was unlawful in light of existing precedent. Based on the records summarized in the transcript, the strongest argument for Ms. Rogers is that she spent hours in custody after a stop that was based on a registration violation that did not exist, and that the department itself later dismissed every citation after confirming the registration was valid. Strongest argument for the defense is that the legality of the stop depends on what information the officer reasonably possessed before initiating it, not merely on what investigators discovered afterward. Ultimately, this case illustrates why the Fourth Amendment places such importance on the legality of the initial stop. A single mistaken decision at the outset can shape every event that follows, from the commands an officer gives, to the arrest that occurs, to the civil rights questions that later reach a courtroom, regardless of how a court would ultimately rule. The department's own investigation found significant procedural failures, and those findings underscored the importance of careful police work, clear communication, and adherence to constitutional limits during even the most routine traffic stops.